Hello everybody, today I'm going to be covering the biggest risers and fallers in college basketball so far this season. There have been a lot of teams that look better than expected and also some teams who have disappointed so far this season, including my Michigan Wolverines, unfortunately, which I'm going to cover in this video. I'm going to cover 3 teams that are rising and 3 teams that are falling. Let's get right into the risers, starting off with the first one being Purdue. Trey Kaufmann-Renn is back and he had a fantastic first game, finishing with 19 points, 15 rebounds against Alabama. In Alabama, what a huge victory for them. According to EvanMia.com, they have the best offense in the entire country this season. Braden Smith finished the game against Alabama with 29 points, including 21 in the second half. He looked like the best guard in college basketball. EvanMia.com also says that he's the best player in college basketball as well, according to their player rankings. Purdue more than doubled Alabama on the glass. Oscar Clough, TKR, Daniel Jacobson off the bench. They have a lot of size and strength from the front court. This team is unstoppable at their best. They can play fast with Alabama. They can slow it down like they usually like to do. They can play with anybody and beat anybody on any day. They have now proved that they can win tough games. Trey Kaufmann-Renn was in mid-season form, and moving forward, they're going to be unstoppable and go on a huge run. The next team that is rising so far is Gonzaga. They smacked a ranked Creighton team. Graham Ike has looked like one of the best players in the entire country, averaging about 19 points and 10 rebounds so far. He's a monster in the middle. Gonzaga is also one of the older teams in college basketball, so that veteran experience so far has helped them. We do need to keep an eye on their three-point shooting. It has not been great this season. They've been dominating on the interior and playing great defense as well, but their three-point shooting is worth tracking. Much like Purdue, they were dominant on the glass all last week. Braden Huff has been a great sidekick to Graham Ike in the front court. I cannot wait for them to get a real test in Alabama next week. Evan Mia has Gonzaga as the 4th best team in the country with the 3rd best defense in the entire nation. The final team that's moving up in these rankings is Uconn. Uconn has had one of the best wins in the entire season, beating a very talented BYU team at Boston Garden. I continue to say it with their starting 5. I think it's the best starting 5 in the entire country. With Tarris Reed playing healthy, he's been a monster. They shot over 40% from 3 in all of their games last week on high volume. They have so many different weapons in the offensive end. Silas Demry has really upped his scoring. He's a fantastic playmaker. Alex Karaban is averaging 18 a game. Solo Ball is doing solo ball things. And Tarris Reed has averaged 19 points per game. Uconn has taken and made great shots all season. They are super efficient, being number 11 in the country in field goal percentage. They're also number 20 in the country in point differential. After playing a BYU team and only winning by 3, they're crushing teams. Right now, I have Uconn in the same tier as Houston, as Purdue, in that top echelon of best teams with best lineups. Now moving on to the fallers, who has looked rough in the past week. It starts with my Michigan Wolverines. They barely beat a Wake Forest team in overtime, and then they squeaked out a win against a pretty bad TCU team who's projected to finish towards the bottom in the Big 12. Season after season, it seems like turnovers are the biggest issue for Michigan. They have been careless with the basketball so far. They had 21 turnovers against TCU and 17 against Wake Forest. That's not going to cut it against superior opponents. They also only averaged 4.5 made threes a game last week. That is not going to cut it against great teams. And they also shot at terrible efficiency. I'm super worried about this team's offense moving forward, including their shooting. Trey McKinney's been a bright spot. Yaxel still needs to find his groove, but I am worried about this offense. Ade Mara had a cold night after a hot start to the season, but Michigan has plenty of chances to bounce back and have a great year, but it's going to be an uphill battle. The next team that I'm down on after last week is Creighton. As I mentioned before, Creighton got smoked by Gonzaga last week. Josh Dix is averaging just 9.3 points per game on really bad shooting splits. Owen Freeman was supposed to be their big guy in the middle, their star player. He's only played about 17 minutes per game and averaging only 10 points per game. He does not look fully healthy. And a breakout star candidate, Jackson McAndrews, only averaging 9 points on 30% shooting from the field. That's not going to cut it. According to Evan Mia, they are the 71st defense in the country. They are just bleeding points out to the opponents. Their long-term future is in question. Josh Dix has looked horrible. Owen Freeman has looked healthy. Jackson McAndrews hasn't had that breakout season that we were looking for. I'm worried about this team moving forward, especially because besides Gonzaga, they've played some pretty bad teams. They better be ready next week when they face Baylor and Iowa State. They're going to have their hands full. The final team I'm down on after last week is Texas A&M. What a horrible start for them. I think the A&M football team took all the basketball team's powers because the football team looks awesome. The basketball team looks terrible. Pop Isaacs has been in and out with injuries, and when he has played, he has not been efficient. He's shooting it poorly. He's not fitting into the offense. Mackenzie Mbako has not been back this season. He's going to be their star player. They really need him back sooner than later. No one has taken over with Mbako out. Who's going to be that guy that steps up? Who's going to be that second player, that second star? It's supposed to be Pop Isaacs, but he's been dealing with some frustrations himself. I've lost faith in this team because it looks like they don't have much fight in them. They got smoked by an okay Oklahoma State team, and Oklahoma State didn't even look like they played that well. The best chance for this team to turn the ship around is Pop Isaacs start to shoot the ball well, and Mackenzie Mbako comes back and looks like the star candidate he's going to be. According to Evan Mia, they are 64th in offense and 92nd in defense. That is not going to cut it in the SEC. They have a chance to finish towards the bottom of the SEC. When I was really high on them, I thought they're going to have a good year, but it's looked like it's going to be a long season for the A&M Aggies. You guys, those are my biggest risers and my biggest fallers from this week in college basketball. I'm going to post this kind of content every single week to cover the biggest risers and fallers from the previous week games, so make sure you're subscribing for that content. But my name's Mitch. This is College Basketball Courtside, and have a great day.